Hi, it's Cindy Royal again with the web design class, and we just finished talking about what you needed to do to set up your environment to work with HTML and to create web pages. Now we're going to start working with HTML. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. As the name implies, it is a markup language, not a programming language. There is no logic associated with HTML. We'll add that with other types of languages later. A markup language means that you are going to be marking up text, surrounding it with these codes in angle brackets that basically tells the browser what the text should look like or what it should be. Is it a paragraph? Is it a heading? Should it be a link? Should it actually be an image? And this will make sense as we start going forward. We'll be working with HTML5, which has some very new features that were introduced, mainly in terms of rich media and layout, but a lot of the tags and properties that have been associated with HTML from the beginning are still relevant. So we're going to start with the most basic elements of HTML. So the first element that you need to know is just the basic HTML element. So it's just HTML, and you insert it between the opening and closing angle brackets. And everything on the page is going to go in between the opening and the closing HTML tags. Then you close the tag by putting the / in front of it. So everything else we do will be in here. And it's good to understand how you write code in pairs with the opening and closing tags so you don't forget to close a tag later that could cause problems. So every HTML page has two sections, a head, and we'll open that and we'll close it just so we don't forget, and a body. And the information in the head is information about the page. You don't actually see it on the page, but it's information like the title, which we'll add in a moment, links to other files that will help the page, but it doesn't actually control any of the content on the page. And the body is where the content goes. And there should never be anything in this area here. There is no neck, just a head and a body. This area is no man's land, so make sure that all your content on your page goes in your body and all the information about the page goes into the head. So the first thing that we'll want to code is the title. So there's a new tag or element called title that we will add, and the title is something that goes in the title bar or in your tab. That's information about the page, the title of the page. So I'm going to say Cindy Royal. You could say anything you want there, your name. Since this is going to be my own personal page, you could say my new website, but that's not really very descriptive about who you are. It could be the title of your site if you're doing a site on something else, like my On That Note site. The title would be On That Note. So this was a new document. I want to go ahead and save it now so I can view what I did here in the browser. So I do a File, Save As. And before I do anything else, and especially if this is closed down small like this, we want to increase the size of this dialog box so we can see where we want to save it. In my Documents folder, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder called My Website. You can call this anything you want that's meaningful for you, and you can save it really anywhere you want on the computer, just as long as you can find it later. So I'm now in this My Website folder, and this is going to be my home page, so I'm going to call it index.html. That's just the convention that we use to name home pages. The browser later will know that once this is up on the web, we can just use the domain name, for instance, cindyroyal.com, and we don't have to also say index.html. It will default to any page called index.html as the home page. We'll be adding additional pages as we go. So let's save this page. And so we have it saved in Text Wrangler. I'm going to come over to the browser and do a File, Open File, and find this My Website folder and open up index.html. And there's not a whole lot on the page, but we will see that the title does show up here in the tab. So we know we have the right file open. So we have the same file open in both Text Wrangler and in Chrome, the browser. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to get some content on that page. We want to start typing in paragraphs, so I'm going to use a P, and that's the element that we use for paragraph, and I'm just going to say welcome to my new website. Thank you for stopping by. And that's the end of that paragraph. And I have to close the paragraph with the closing paragraph element, which just puts the slash in front of it. So let's just save this. We'll just do a file save and see how easy it is to come over to the browser and just refresh, and you'll see the content is actually now on the page. Now we're cooking. We actually have something on the website. So now if I want to go back to Text Wrangler and say, well, I really need a heading on here. Maybe I want welcome to my new website to be a heading. So I'm going to cut that, paste it up here, and I'm going to give it a heading level 1. There are headings level 1 through 6 that you can use in HTML, and we'll be able to control what they look like and the size of them later. For now, just think of it like an outline. You can use H1 as many times as you have a heading of that size, H2 through H6, etc. So let's save this and see what that looks like. We have welcome to my new website. Thank you for stopping by. The welcome to my new website is in a larger size so that you can see that it's a heading for that area. And we could add additional content, text in this area to increase the content on our site. So I can say I am a professor at Texas State University. And just be very careful with your content that you're using proper punctuation, spelling, grammar. We are communication majors. And that basically gives you an idea of what the major elements are for designing a web page. You know now how to create the structure of the page, you know how to create a paragraph, and you know how to include a heading level 1 in that. Now if I wanted to do a heading level 2, maybe this is the next level in the outline that we're creating. Maybe I want to have different sections of the page that talk about different areas of my life. So maybe I have a work area that I'm creating that I want to be in H2, and I'll have a paragraph in that, and maybe another H2 where I like music, and another H2 for outdoors. So let's save this and come back over to the browser and just refresh. And now you see we have these 3 sections that are coming here, and each one of these could get some paragraphs of content underneath those. In the next video, we'll talk about text formatting, adding images to your page, and creating links.